You've tried marketing before. I know you have. You spent money with someone. Maybe Angi, maybe some agency, maybe some guy your buddy recommended. Maybe 2 or 3 different companies over the years. And it just didn't work, or it kind of worked, or it worked for a month and then stopped, or the leads were garbage, or the leads were fine but just nothing closed. And at some point you said what every contractor says: marketing doesn't work for my business. I'm going to tell you something that you probably don't want to hear. You're right, and you're wrong at the same time, and I'll explain. You're right that what they sold you didn't work. I'm not going to sit here and defend the marketing industry. Most of it deserves the reputation it has with contractors. Here's what they actually did. They ran some ads, maybe decent ads, maybe garbage ads with stock photos and $500 off your next project. They sent leads to your phone and then they said, good luck, and went to go collect their next retainer. That's it. That's what you paid for. No one set up a system to make sure those leads actually got followed up on. No one was there to answer when the lead called while you were on a job site with a saw running or pouring concrete. No one qualified the leads to make sure they weren't tire kickers. No one tracked what happened after the lead came in. No one coached you on how to actually close the leads that were good. Nobody built a follow-up system so the ones who didn't respond right away didn't just die in your text thread. They gave you the leads, and then everything between the lead and the revenue, that was your problem. So yeah, of course it didn't work. But here's where you're wrong. Marketing didn't fail you. Something much more specific failed you. You got one piece of a system and we're told it was the whole damn thing. Think of it like this. You go to the doctor with chest pain, he writes you a prescription and sends you home. Doesn't check your blood pressure, doesn't run any tests, doesn't ask about your diet, your stress, your sleep. Just, here's some pills. Good luck. 6 months later, you're worse. Would you say medicine just doesn't work? No. You'd say that was a bad doctor, because a good doctor doesn't just treat the symptom, he looks at the entire picture and figures out what's actually going on. That's what happened with your last marketing company. They treated one symptom, you need leads, and ignored everything else. The follow-up, speed to contact, the sales process, the infrastructure, the pipeline management. They handed you magic pills and just kind of wished you luck. The prescription wasn't wrong, the diagnosis was just incomplete. And here's the part that makes this even worse for the contractor doing 1.5, 2, or $2.5 million a year. At your level, the stakes are much higher. You're not the guy who can afford to just lose a few small leads. Your average job might be $15,000, $20,000, or $40,000. When a lead dies because you were on site and nobody picked up the phone, that's not a $500 loss. That's a $30,000 job you're never gonna see again. And the agency just doesn't even know what happened. They show you the dashboard and say, look, you got 40 leads this month. And you're sitting here going, great, well, I only closed 2 of them. So you fire the agency, right? And you walk away believing marketing just doesn't work. But what actually happened, you had 40 people raise their hand and say, I might wanna hire you. And 38 of them never heard back in time, got a generic text response, never got a follow-up, or sat down with you for an estimate that had no structure and no process behind it. They went with the contractor who called back in 10 minutes. The one who showed up with a presentation, the one whose system was built to catch them. The leads weren't bad, the system behind the leads just didn't exist yet. Let me bring this into your world so it really hits home. Imagine a homeowner hires someone to renovate their kitchen. The company comes in, installs beautiful cabinets, really nice work, then hands the homeowner a bill and says, good luck with the rest. No plumbing, no electrical, no countertops, no appliance hookups, just cabinets hanging on a wall. The homeowner looks around and goes, the kitchen doesn't work. Renovations are a scam. Are renovations a scam? No. That company just did one piece and called it a job, and the homeowner got stuck with a kitchen that looks half finished and does not function. That's most likely what happened to you. Your marketing company or lead provider installed the cabinets. They just gave you the leads, but nobody hooked up the rest. No follow-up system, no lead management, no speed to contact, no sales process, no tracking, no accountability. Just leads to your phone and a monthly invoice saying, hey, good luck, I hope you do well. You didn't have a marketing problem. You had the marketing company only did 20% of the job problem. And then everybody just points fingers and blames each other. Here's the pattern I see over and over with contractors at your level. Agency sends leads. Leads hit your phone while you're on a job site. You see them 30 minutes later, if you're lucky. By then, they've already called someone else. The ones you do call back, you schedule an estimate, you show up, measure, give them a number on the spot, or send it 3 days later with no presentation, no structured process, no follow-up if they don't respond. You close maybe 10, 15% of them. Agency says the leads were good. You say the leads were garbage. Both of you are partially right. The leads were probably fine. Your ability to capture, manage, and close them was non-existent. And the agency never fixed that because they just thought it wasn't their job. Their job was to send leads, right? Nobody owned the rest of the process. So the real question isn't, does marketing work? The real question is, what happens after a lead comes in? Because that's where the money is, and that's where leads go to die. This is also where jobs are won and lost. And that's the part no one built for you. I'm not saying this to bash marketing companies. I'm not saying this to bash contractors. Some of them do good work. Some of them genuinely generate solid leads. But generating a lead and converting a lead are two completely different things. And most companies only do the first part and don't support you on the second part. Here's why this matters for you specifically. If you're doing 1.5, 2 million in revenue, but you want to get to $3 or $4 million a year, you already know referrals alone won't get you there. The phone needs to ring from places other than word of mouth. But every time you think about marketing, your nervous system fires up because the last time you tried it, you lost $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 or more and got nothing but frustration and a stack of leads that just went nowhere. So you stay where you are. You stick with referrals, you grow slowly or not at all, and you turn down the next agency that calls. You tell yourself, marketing doesn't work for contractors. But the contractor across town who's booked out 3 months, he's running marketing. It's working for him. Not because he's luckier, not because he found a magic agency, because somebody built the whole system, not just the lead gen, but everything behind it. The follow-up, the booking, the sales process, the tracking, the accountability, the complete machine. Marketing doesn't work when it's just leads to your phone and a prayer. That's not marketing, that's a slot machine. Marketing works when there's a system behind it that turns leads into estimates, estimates into jobs, and jobs into revenue you can predict. That's not what you had before. And that's why it didn't work. So if you've been burned, and I know you have, I'm not going to tell you to forget about it. That scar tissue is there for a reason. It's protecting you from making the same mistake, but don't let it protect you from making a different decision, because marketing doesn't work isn't true. What's true is what I've tried in the past didn't work, and now you know why. The question isn't whether marketing works for contractors. It obviously does. Just look at the guy in your market who's in your lunch. Look at the companies that are at 10 million, 15 million, 20 million a year. They market their business. The question is whether anyone's ever built this complete system for you, not just the leads, everything behind it that actually makes marketing work for your company. If the answer is no, then you haven't actually tried marketing yet. You've tried lead gen with no backend, and those are two very different things.